Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, and glad you could attend. Come inside, Movie Maniacs, as we take a look at The Covenant, a supernatural horror film coming out soon to VOD, directed by Robert Conway, and we get the story of Sarah Doyle, who suffered a major loss in her family a year ago, where she lost her daughter to a tragic accident, and her daughter was ill as well, and we also see how she lost her husband to suicide. So she moves back to her family home with her brother Richard to try to help mend what she's gone through and deal with that and try to move on with life. But while at her home, she starts being taken over by an evil presence at the home who has some very nefarious plans for her. And we see how her brother Richard tries to save his sister physically as well as save her soul from this evil force. Robert Conway gives us a very interesting story that's dealing with the emotions of loss and how, if you can't deal with it, how it can take you over. And I think that's what they were kind of going for here with the metaphor in here with the demonic possession. Here's Sarah Doyle, who's played a solid performance by Monica Engesser, who we saw in Krampus the Reckoning. Enjoyed her performance a lot more in here, and we see how she struggles with trying to deal with this loss, and I think the metaphor they're going for is how it opened her up to being possessed by this evil force. So an interesting metaphor there, and I thought that was a nice little twist on your possession story. Now, Richard Doyle, played by Owen Conway, who also was in Krampus the Reckoning as well as Exit to Hell, plays her brother very well. There's a great chemistry between these two. You feel like they're brother and sister. You feel like, they've been with each other for a while, and they've got two different personalities, and you see him struggle with trying to deal with what his sister's going through, and trying to believe that, maybe something supernatural is actually happening to her. And so a solid performance there, too. And then Maria Olsen playing the creepy nosy Molly Hanning, the neighbor across the street, and she puts in a great performance as well. All solid performances in here. The film clips along nicely at a good pace, and like I said, there's a little bit of variations to what we've normally seen in the possession story. It does get creepy in parts, but overall it is a standard possession story, so that might turn some people off. For me, I enjoyed it. I liked to see where they were going. Outside of a few special effects in here, which weren't on the screen long, they didn't take me out of the film, but I think they could have been done a little bit better had they had a better budget, a bigger budget for the film. But if you're a fan of supernatural possession films and indie films, you may want to check out The Covenant. I would recommend it to anyone who enjoys that type of film. I think you'll find the story interesting and that it moves along nicely, and you're never sitting there checking your watch. So check out The Covenant. If you have, please leave your comments down below. I'll put other information as well as when it's out for you to see. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and if there's any other movies you'd like us to see us review here on The Final Cut, please comment below as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your support, and remember, until next time, keep that ticket stub.